Welcome, Fulgar Pod, Joe Puttyman here, and welcome to my Mandalorian review for, of course, Season 2, Chapter 15, The Believer. Now, for this episode, I am hyped to get to the end of it, and of course, if you're looking now, you're seeing this is a new setup. This looks a little weird. Well, I decided to change things up when it comes to my setup, so I can include some of my awesome things like, oh, what's this? My Star Wars action figures. So, guys, if any point, and I mean any point, you did like this video, make sure you hit that like button. The first thing you do, especially if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
At last.
Thank you, C3PO. Alright, so again, we're going to be talking about Chapter 15, The Believer. So we're going to go through certain scenes and talk about what's going on in the episode and show some awesome Easter eggs. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go and make sure you watch the episode first. So I'm excited because I have a lot I want to talk about in this episode, and I can't wait to get through it, especially the ending. It just got me pumped for Chapter 16. It's about to be insane. So if you remember from last episode, they got Cara Dune to get a Mayfield out of prison. Now, if you remember, Mayfield was in Season 1. He actually did pulled a situation where he actually ended up pulling someone out of release because, getting Mando to help pulling someone out of prison. And, of course, he ends up in prison himself, which is kind of ironic because what the episode starts with is them being, him being watched and been trolled by what they actually call as New Republican security droids. If you remember right, those were actually in the first season, as you see on the screen. So to see the same things they fought, forcing him to be launched is pretty funny. So we actually see those again in this episode where Cara Dune actually uses her now. The Republican, what do you call it? Her law to be able to break him out. And then they state to him, which first and foremost, I want to bring this up as well. Boba Fett has new, clean gear, and I mean, like, it is looking spot on, like slick. Let me try to find it right here real quick. It's looking very pretty. I like it. So, it's nice to see that Boba Fett's gear is looking really nice, and I like the way it looks and everything. It looks really clean. But they state in the episode that they're going to Morak. Now, this is where I kind of have a little bit of a lost situation, because when I first heard Morak, I don't think of Morak as in like a planet. I think of Morak as a species, indigenous species that comes from the planet of Araduru, and I don't know if this has any connection to it, because there was a Morak also that was from the animated Ewok series. So I'm not sure if they have any connections to this planet, but I don't know of Morak the planet in Star Wars. So again, this might be something for you guys sleuths in the comments to go ahead and check out as well. But anyway, again, I don't know of the planet. So when we get there, we actually see that they end up on a vehicle, which might possibly be another thing that, which is an AS Juggernaut vehicle. And in this vehicle, you'll actually see, these troopers. Now, these are actually called shore troopers. And shore troopers are troopers that literally will go in like tropical climate areas and watch shores. So their name speaks for what they are. Now, these are darker versions of shore troopers. I'm used to the ones you see on the screen, the more lighter pigment ones, but they do have the red bands to show, the commanding officer, so on and so forth. So, or the red arms. So I'm not exactly sure if they just made a change, or there might be a different version, a variant, which it does look like the armor plates may be a little bit different as well on the shoulders, but I'm not exactly sure. Again, for you guys that go way deeper than even I go into this, you guys can tell me in the comments below if there's something else I'm not familiar with when it comes to the shore troopers and their outfits. Whether the darker tint means something different, maybe it's just based on where they're at or the climate area. It might not be. I'm not sure. as the episode progresses, we see that they get hunched down by some aliens, and in return, we do get to see some TIE fighters that fly in to help them. Now, of course, this was an odd situation nonetheless and everything, but to see just stormtroopers in general, and just to see, to see them come in to help is really kind of odd. But of course, again, that was their transport vehicle that was being used to transport the items. Now, this vehicle is, again, I stated earlier, was the Juggernaut vehicle. Again, this might be just a modification of the Juggernaut vehicle, a bit different. And what was being carried aboard, it might have been modified to change things. Of course, we see a lot of different stormtroopers here, but based on the climate and the look of this area, this could be, again, a shore. So that's the reason why I believe these are still shore troopers that are taking this vehicle into the Imperial mining facility. So, next we do get something that is really odd. And I'm glad based on what happens. Basically, he has to use his face to get scanned in order to get the information he needs. And in return, he does something big. He shows his face. Of course, that means that Mayfield now knows what he looks like. And in return, they sit down with an officer. And during this time, they do bring up some information, which here's the officer. They do bring up some information from some old stories that I remember when I was, which I didn't know if they were still canon at the time, but I guess they are canon. And let me explain. During Palpatine's time, or reign, I should say, over the Empire, which, of course, this ends up changing because everyone thinks he's dead. There was a contingency that was actually set out that any enemies or people that were against what he believed in were wiped out. Burnin Khan was actually one of those planets, as you can see right here. Burnin Khan was actually destroyed in something they called Operation Cinder. And Operation Cinder was like a 3-month thing where they basically destroyed all planets or civilizations that went against Palpatine's order. And it seems Mayfield was on planet Burnin Khan when Operation Cinder took place. So in return, what ends up happening in this episode is he ends up basically shooting the Imperial officer, and in return for what he did to mess up the plan, he promises to Mando that he never saw his face, which is really odd too, because they release him at the end of the episode. If you remember, they actually let him go, and in return, they when they let him go, it's basically means that he's the only one of anyone has seen his face, and it's like a huge liability that may return to the series. I really think it's going to come back to haunt him, to where maybe Mayfield is going to come back and be like, you owe me one. And he'll be like, no, I set you free. And he's like, I know what you look like. And the Mandalorians will know this. Like, I feel like this is going to be something that's going to be a contingency with him. So this is going to create some definite tension and drama in later seasons and episodes of Mandalorian. But we then end with probably the most epic, and I've got to be honest, the most epic moment in my lifetime. And when I heard it, it brought chills, and it made me so excited for the next episode. And it's also just the perfect way to end this review, guys. Mando leaves a transmission for Moff Gideon, and the transmission says this. And I got chills when I heard him say it. I was like, let's go. And that he said to him that Grogu, aka Baby Yoda, means more to him than he'll ever know. And that he made the grave mistake in taking him. I think we're going to see Mando go in like a blaze of glory, and this is going to be there's going to be bodies laying dead. I cannot wait. Let's see Mando go off. I want him tearing up everything that lays in his path to get to Grogu. It's funny, I said in my last review that everything is overwhelming when it comes to just the whole situation with the series like ramping up so much. I didn't know that it could get even better, and I was so afraid that things were going to slow down, but they haven't really. You know what I mean? This might be a slowdown period for some other reasons, and it might be a little bit of a letdown because we didn't see Grogu at all. But I feel like this is bringing more and more craziness, and this transmission alone is basically like saying no, no. We're even though things may seem like it might have been slowed down since the last episode, we're about to kick it into high gear. I want to know what you guys think. Make sure you guys comment below and tell me what you guys thought of this episode. Was there something that made you like cheer for joy? Are you just as pumped as I am? Oh my god, I can't wait. I can't wait. Guys, again, make sure you go ahead and comment below and tell me what you guys think. But I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure to like button, make sure to subscribe button. By the way, before I go, I said this in my last review, but guys, they do have Mandalorian in Fortnite, guys, where you can actually get the Mandalorian skin and Grogu as a back bling. If you guys plan to get the skin and to get the battle pass, please use my code Puttyman _PUTTYMAN with the underscore in the end and the Fortnite item shop. I'd be very appreciative, guys. It will help me out, and again, it helps out a fellow Star Wars fan, and just instead of it just being a random Fortnite fan, make it a huge Star Wars fan just like yourself. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for watching, and as always, I am Puttyman with Gamer Potheads, and do not forget, we're all about that score. Peace out, guys. Can't wait till Chapter 16. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.